For context, coming into the new year, I had no idea my wife had been at the bare minimum having an emotional affair with a coworker. On New Year's Eve, before I found out about this, she came home and acted extremely cold toward me and our kids. She was angry. Earlier that evening, she asked if she could go out to have one drink with a female coworker, whom I knew and trusted. I told her that was cool, but that the kids were staying up for the ball drop, so as long as she could be back to celebrate with them, I was fine with it. Well, she ended up getting off of work at 11:30 and barely had enough time to get home. After the ball dropped, she cried and cried. I asked her what was wrong, and she said she got invited to her friend's house to have drinks with them. All three of them were women, all married. I had no issue. I said, "Look, I'm not sure what's wrong and why you're crying about this. That's fine. You deserve a girls' night out every once in a while. I don't mind watching the kids. Just go." I put the kids to bed, she left, and then about 3 hours later, so 3 a.m., I tried to contact her. No answer. I waited about 15 minutes. Call her again. No answer. I called her friend who she's supposed to be with. No answer. She then texts me back 5 minutes later and says, "Yeah, I'm still coming home tonight. We're still drinking." Never in our 6 years of marriage had I felt a gut feeling that something else was going on. But that night, it all hit me. I went through our phone records and found another number I was unfamiliar with that she had been in contact with all night, ignoring my calls, texting that number in between, etc. She had also been texting this number for a 3-month period daily. I never suspected that she would be texting another dude while right beside me watching family movies either, as times had shown. How I didn't see this, I have no idea. Maybe she had this individual listed as mom in her phone. I don't know. I had never gotten this vibe or feeling our entire marriage. I was blindsided by it. Anyway, I confronted her about it through text, with the proof, like an idiot. She speeds home, deletes everything on her phone. No way of getting the backups restored. No way of ever knowing she did not meet up with this guy. Upon finding this out, I immediately told her I wanted a divorce. It was at this point she began getting violent with me, talking crap about everything I had been doing to keep us financially stable. The 18-hour workdays that kept a roof over our heads. She told me that I needed to leave even though I pay rent and both our kids are asleep. I refused. We slept in separate rooms that night, and the next day she tried to act like nothing even happened, claiming that she remembered we'd fought but couldn't remember what it was about. So I showed her the phone records, even though I'm positive she was just trying to pull some crap. She confesses who the individual was and says they flirted a lot, but never met up. I told her if that was true, she'd have no issues restoring the text messages she deleted. At which point it was confirmed she deleted everything and deleted her last backup. She also saved a backup after they were deleted the night. Everything went to hell. Since then, she's tried hard to convince me they never did anything and never saw each other, aside from work. I keep finding bits and pieces of things that don't make sense. Chunks of texts deleted from her friends. Messages around that time. Pictures on her Google Drive from that night where she was with who she said she was deleted from her phone for what reason. The most damning evidence I have is for a 2-hour period on New Year's Eve. They stopped texting each other, then randomly started texting again at around 3 a.m. when I started calling and got that feeling. My gut tells me she left her friend's place, went to his place, and went back. Or she went straight to his place from our place, then went to her friend's when she found out I was calling them. There are revealing pictures of herself she never sent me also on her Google Drive taken on Snapchat. She's since given me all her attention. She initiates intimacy tenfold. The texting stopped. She shows me everything on her Snapchat and even downloads her data to show me she's not hitting other people up. I'm seeing the side of her I haven't seen since we were married all those years ago. But I can't help but trust my gut in demanding a divorce. I feel like she's kept things from me. Not knowing for sure is destroying me inside. My parents know all of this and keep pressuring me to work it out and not dwell. My brothers are saying freak that get a divorce. Am I wrong in getting a divorce? Keep in mind the dates. It's now been over 4 months since this occurred. I'm positive she cut the individual completely out. But I still can't get over the not 100% knowing, and my gut tells me she's still lying. Edit. If some of this is confusing, ask and I will clarify. I will also give context where needed. Also, sorry for the way this was written. I'm aware there's some jumping back and forth, etc. I'm just scatterbrained right now. It's honestly getting to me more now than the night I found out. It just keeps building. I feel stupid. Edit 2. Also, forgot to add that the individual in question is an employee she manages. As in, she is his direct supervisor. I've heard there are greater legal consequences for this, but I have no idea. For clarification, the individual in question is actually morbidly obese. I'm by no means fit, but I'm not fat either. Went back and looked at the timestamps for the pictures that were deleted of her and her friends that night. On Google Drive, before that 2-hour period of no texting during and after, there were several pictures taken with verified timestamps on them, as in, they cannot be changed on Google Drive. Whether or not she has a friend that's tech-savvy and was able to do that within the 10 minutes it took her to get home upon confronting, I don't know. Is this possible? It's also worth adding, I come from a family that has thoroughly convinced one of my cousins that she needs to stay in her marriage, even when her husband became solely reliant on her, got addicted to coke, is still addicted to coke, and physically abused her, all because, by golly, no one in this family has ever gotten a divorce. So essentially doing so, I would get disowned by my parents, my sister, all my cousins, all my aunts, all my uncles, but would still have the support of my 2 brothers. Update 1. Currently on morning break at work. Been reading through the comments. I have off tomorrow all day, so I will be heavily weighing my options when I get some time to myself tomorrow. May not update tomorrow, but I'll update y'all when I can. Thank you for all the input, positive and negative. The best thing I can do right now is just get through the work week, get my kids from daycare, and be mentally present for them. I've been ignoring her since last night, and she's been snapping and calling me all morning to see what's wrong. Relevant comments. Somebody asked about his wife lying to him, and the family telling him to reconsider divorcing. Original poster replied, I'll be honest with you. The 2 main reasons I've tried to tough it out are 1, the kids, even though she pretty much said freak all of us on New Year's Eve. And 2, for some reason my parents have really been pressuring me to stay. It's sucking with me, and I don't know why. They keep reminding me that no one in this family has ever gotten a divorce. Blah, blah, blah. They said, I'll most likely never end up seeing my children again. Even though, in my state, if a spouse is found to have cheated, this essentially gives up their rights to children if a divorce is filed. I really don't understand how my own parents can sit there and feed me crap stories about people they know that went through it and came out a better couple. Really feels like they're taking her side in everything that happened while ignoring every truth. Another commenter said, did she come home acting extremely cold, or did she work until 11? Original poster responded, silence. Our daughter ran up to her for a hug, and she started crying. She then got really irritated when our daughter asked her for a drink. Something that still doesn't sit right with me. She started yelling at her saying, Mommy needs some damn space. When I tell y'all, there was literally no sign of all this crap until that. She hid everything extremely well. Also, for everyone saying what they are about the 2-hour period. Yes, that was my thought. I went back through the Google Drive at everything that was removed from her phone. There were pictures and selfies taken with her friends at the place she was supposed to be during that time period, before it and after it. I doubt she's tech-savvy enough to edit timestamps on Google Drive once everything is backed up. This isn't to say they never met up. This isn't to say she doesn't know how to do that, and it still doesn't make a difference with everything she did. Like I said, weighing options tomorrow, reaching out to a lawyer tomorrow. Update 1. My wife had an emotional affair at the bare minimum and may have cheated. Probably did, but will never admit it. Here's the update. I sit here typing this out on my morning break while listening to Tuesday's Gone by Lynyrd Skynyrd. After a long day of considering my options on Friday, I sat my wife down on Friday evening when she got off work and I had put the kids to bed. As soon as I brought up that my trust in her was completely gone, she immediately became argumentative and essentially stated, "I thought we had left this in the past. You never trusted me, did you?" I responded with, "Even if you didn't do anything physical or met up with him outside of work, you'll never let me see those text messages. You'll never pull the Snapchat data." She responded with, "You're right. Marriage is based off trust, and if you don't trust me, then maybe we ought to call it quits." The irony in this is that I worked 18, 19-hour days for the past few years, barely being able to do anything I wanted to do in my life because I was supporting our children, getting them to bed, cleaning the house all the time, doing all the cooking, barely even getting enough sleep. Probably took years off my life just from the stress. She on New Year's Eve said, "Damn the kids, damn you," and essentially went out to party with her friends, all the while ignoring calls from me and our daughter, asking where she was, while also responding to her bare minimum emotional affair partner. Not getting into all the details, so as to not repeat myself between this and the update. Long story short, in my state, we have to be separated for a year before a divorce can be finalized. When I agreed with her that we should start separating and that I had already been in contact with a lawyer, she freaked the freak out on me. She begged me not to go through with it, but alas, next Friday, I will be dropping her off at her parents' a few hours away. The kids will be staying with me for now, with the help of one of my brothers. I told her there was only one way I would put this off for now. That was to pull the data, pull the texts, prove your case. She looked down at the ground, one more time, and told me that's a violation of her privacy. We haven't spoken since. For now, for my kids, I gotta keep on keeping on. Update, trickle truth. The first was a guy in a different state. Second, it was a coworker. Third, it was someone underneath her that she supervises. Fourth, and just now, randomly got a text from her stating she may have told him she loves him. But I instantly regretted it, and that's it. Also, let me reiterate, the process of separation starts this coming Friday. In my state, you cannot divorce immediately. It takes a full year. I say this because of all the people stating, just divorce and be done with it, and also those stating, stop giving second chances. Relevant comments. Somebody said, "You do realize that your attorney can subpoena her phone records and texts, right? If you believe there was cheating, have your lawyer get all those messages. Then you'll know, and she'll be out of luck." Original poster responded, "Definitely going to happen. I've already been in contact with one, and in the state I live in, if there was infidelity, she essentially loses any choice in the matter of where the kids stay." Somebody said, "Oh gosh, I'm so sorry. I've been in a similar situation. He wouldn't show me the texts. Spent about a half hour clearing, and then let me see his phone. Lol." Original poster responded, "For me, it's pretty black and white. I'm 99.99% sure she physically cheated. I'd love to just believe her and move on, but I can't. Not only did she delete all texts between them, she deleted all texts from multiple friends and coworkers from that same time as well, but left the ones from prior and after. As far as I'm concerned, her friends were in on it, and so was anyone else she deleted text from." Somebody said, "She knows she can't show you the texts because they prove her affair and how far it went. By not showing you what was being said between them is all the information you need. It was so incriminating she couldn't bear to show you them. You did the right thing. She failed the marriage test, and you need to move on and find someone that respects you. Sorry you're going through this. Good luck going forward." One commenter also replied, "When he drops her off at the parents', he should definitely mention to the father-in-law that she can come back and they can out a stop to the process of just hands over the messages. Edit. Enough people don't get it. So I'll spell it out. It is a lie, a rose, a bamboozle if you would, a psychological tactic to turn her parents and her family against her. Because it is highly unlikely she would ever mention the texts in any context to her parents or family, as it plainly makes her look guilty. Even if the parents don't believe she cheated, they will become incredibly annoyed by her actions. Best case scenario, she turns over the texts confirming cheating and the divorce becomes crazy. New update. Long story short, I found out my wife had been having an affair on New Year's Eve as Ollie sat at home with our children, after ignoring calls from not only me but our daughter, asking where she was. I went through our phone records to see that while she ignored our calls, she was accepting calls and texting another number quite frequently. For the record, it was the first time in over 12 years of being together that I'd ever gotten a gut feeling to do so. Never checked them prior to that night. Called the friends who she was supposed to be with, and they ignored my calls as well. After confronting her through text at around 4 or 5 a.m., she was home within 5 minutes, screaming at me and yelling at me as I tried to sleep. Got blamed for everything, even though I'd been loyal and the financial breadwinner our entire marriage. She ended up gaslighting me and trickle-truthing as I tried to keep things together for our children. I'll spare you all the details, as they can be found in previous update and original posts. Fast forward to today. I filed for divorce against my family's wishes. Whole other story also answered in previous update. We are separated, but the divorce can't be finalized until next year. 1 year of being separated is required. She begged and begged for me not to go through with it, and begged me to stay. Not to toss everything out over one little mistake. Funny how she sees infidelity as a mistake that lasted 3 months. Yeah, regardless. I've spent a lot of time with my kids. She sees them on weekends if she chooses. Has only been a couple of times. I'd love to say that I'm over it all, but I'm still healing. I really did love her, and I wish things worked out differently, but I can never trust her again. She tried everything she could sensually to get me to stay. Hell, the day she finally confessed everything. I came home to her dressed up like never before, ready to go. I declined. She went as far as offering me a head every day for the rest of our lives, if I stayed. I've been working and taking care of the kids. It's harder on them than it is on me, if I'm being honest. They still don't understand. I've just been telling them mommy has some things she's working on. I don't have the heart to tell them we won't be a functional household anymore at this time. Also, my parents haven't one time talked to me since I told them I was filing for divorce. Not even to check on my kids or anything. But I've been making this work, with the help of my brother and a few good friends. A few girlfriends from the past have hit me up to see if I want to catch up, but I need to focus on myself and my kids. Thank you all for reaching out through direct messaging and commenting. Relevant comment. Someone asked if his wife has given an apology and if she helped with taking care of the kids. Original poster responded, sorry. Yes, she sent me a half-assed confession while I was at work through Snapchat one day, bawling hysterically, telling me she screwed up and kissed him one time after he walked her to her car. I don't believe that for 1 second. I said, if that's all, then prove it by providing me with the messages you deleted. Once again, I was met with, that's an invasion of my privacy. Plus, if I was in your position, I would just want to forgive, forget, and move on. Easy for the cheater to go ahead and say. I pressed it a few more times and was met with, trust me, you don't want to read that crap. Why would you want to read that? Case closed. Edit, going to vent for a second. I'll be honest with y'all. I tried to give her one final chance to talk things through. I told myself the minute she got hostile about it, I was done. Within 5 minutes of our final talk, I was being blamed for working too much. I quote, "This isn't a damn trial. You weren't perfect either. I was practically screaming for help, and you let me drown. I took the kids to daycare, cleaned the house all the time, picked them up after work, put them to bed, did all the cooking, did the dishes, took on a side hustle to give her a dream vacation, which we went on just before her affair started. Which is where a good few of y'all may know me from, the side hustle. The real kicker I didn't tell y'all about was when I went through her phone that first night, I saw messages from her and her mom talking about how she felt a disconnect, that I wasn't what she wanted anymore. Months before her affair began. Her mom highly encouraged her to sit me down and explain the way she felt. She even told her mom that she did. She never did. Apparently, sitting me down and having a talk was her going off and having an affair. I guarantee she'll never find someone that will treat her the way I did. Breakfast in bed Saturday and Sunday. I woke up with the kids so she could sleep in for years. She gave it all up for someone who can't even cover their own bills and still lives with mommy and daddy. The only thing he had that I didn't have was more time because of a part-time job.